get into a bit more detail, especially with the power rankings, is that Solidus is, I believe, number 6 on the list. So BW Styles, I talked about that earlier, was number 3. So this is the number 3 overall versus our number 6, and definitely deserves it. I kind of have talked about these players in a very similar manner. I personally call like Solidus the next BW, in the sense that BW this whole season kind of had past season now had a very much of a like learning and building up of like his character and his mentality and his play style, to the point where he got so like close and so close to breakout that we knew it was just a matter of time until he was able to take like tournament and take that number 1 spot. And he did it last season. And I think Solidus is kind of like at the beginning of that road, where he's just gotta like get matches in, continue to come to tournaments, make sure that he's like rewatching VODs, asking for coaching, doing everything he can to kind of do the same thing, because not very many people know this, but BW, to like win the matchups that he had struggled with, like Pac-Man, like Incineroar, other characters, the characters that he struggled with so much, he actually went out of his way to talk to other mains of the character outside of IPG, and got beaten up and practiced a bunch with these like really decent reps of the characters, and it paid off in the end, because he came back after doing all that practice and became a champion and became somebody that's a very high contender for that number 1 spot. So definitely gonna be an interesting set between these two. I'm very curious to see what will happen, and I don't know who will win this. It's gonna be a very exciting match.
Yeah. Go ahead and set these guys up on the scoreboard. Yep, and for the guys at home, definitely reset the lobby, and we've seen some really great stuff happen from that, so pretty happy on that overall.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, and good reminder right there, RP4, we do need to get that updated PR out soon. I also would like to try to do a mid-season PR as well, just something to keep everybody on track on where we are.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, no, and then I mean in our first couple of months. Solidus Hedgehog, yes, it is going to be you and Luxray on stream next after this one. And so just for you guys that are, watching at home, yes, we're going to cover the rest of winners, the winners bracket on stream. So every match that happens on winners, we're going to keep that moving. There we go. There's Jest.
Yeah, and Jest number 5. So even then, like kind of a bit higher up. He's 1 spot higher than Solidus, and he is one of the, like we saw him earlier today. Looked very fresh, and I think that this is kind of one of those matchups, Luigi versus BW or versus Mega Man, that I think we might see Jest consider the Pokemon trainer either at the beginning or at some point in this set. Just because Luigi is a character that if you're having trouble playing against him, the easiest way to kind of speed up your positive results against him is to have a projectile that you can constantly kind of like hit him with. And Luigi, if you can keep him at a distance, he definitely struggles, just because his damage is all from grabs, it's all from up close contact. And the only thing that he can kind of stop the projectiles with is with that fireball that often does get beat out by very high priority projectiles like Wolf Laser, like Mega Man, Saw Blade, Leaf Shield, Firebomb, F Smash, all of these moves that BW kind of has, and we know he knows how to use them. So I think that just for those reasons, like we might see him pull out the PT, but I wouldn't be surprised if he still tries the Luigi and even like only uses him this whole set.
Very true. Looks like we are good to go with, we're going to go to PS2.
Okay.
So we are pretty much ready to go on that. Solidus Hedgehog, thank you so much for the 300 bits. Really appreciate that. And, of course, I went ahead and gifted a sub to you, Cherry. So that worked out nicely. And that happened at complete random. And there we go. Oh, it looks like we got a snake in the action here. Let's go ahead and get into the full game.
Another new character for Jest. What a interesting like new character for him. And this is one of those characters, Snake, we've seen from J2 a couple times. He's definitely a great character. Tier list wise, he was one of the most used characters in a couple of the earlier seasons of the Pro Smash League, as well as just in general locals and things like that. Just because a lot of players who weren't very familiar with Brawl had never seen this character. He wasn't in Smash 4, and we're making it look like Jess BW right now definitely has seen this character before, as he deals over 100 damage, and Jess hasn't had a chance to do one. And I definitely think that this pick, regardless of like the results right now, definitely is because of that Luigi versus Mega Man matchup.
Got it.
And he may not be as comfortable even with Pokemon Trainer against it, just because maybe he's tried it before and it hasn't worked out. I'm not too familiar with like their matchup history overall, as well as like the characters, but that's my thought process with it. And we are seeing here, Snake, when he does get hit to these high percents, he's at 182, and you wouldn't think he's that heavy, but look at the amount of damage that he's now able to produce with Max Rage. And just also, with the Snake, is going to live far longer than Mega Man or Luigi would. And for that reason alone, like, we did see him die just now, but the amount of damage that he was able to produce in that short amount of time already got him caught up to BW before he lost that stock, which is a really good way of using it. We're now seeing Jess start to throw out these grenades, and I'm not sure how much he'll be able to use with that, because one thing that, if you're struggling with Snake players, or just the character in general, is if you don't need to necessarily get like all up in Snake's face, he really does struggle to deal meaningful damage or to get those kills. Yeah. Because Mega Man's one of those characters that is kind of like buzzing around your range. Nice Nikita there, finally get that kill. But I mean, he's one of those characters that if you aren't like trying to like really get on his shield in terms of like distance, he can't really deal too much damage to you. Like, he can hit you with his dash attack here or there, go for aerials, but like his run speed and his aerial speed aren't the craziest, and he's definitely going to be outspeeded and outprojectiled by somebody like Mega Man. So I think this will be okay, especially as Jess kind of learns and figures out what he needs to do better mid-set. But I think that it also might just be that we're seeing certain things that Jess isn't doing. Like, we aren't seeing Jess go for too much nair. We aren't seeing him use the grenades just enough to kind of just chuck them at BW. He's kind of planting them and cooking them, is the term I like to use, where he just holds on to them or just leaves them on the ground. But now, that one grenade actually did end up hitting him, and it caused a negative trade for BW, or for Jess. And so pretty much what that means is, like, we're seeing these grenades come out, and sure, Jess is able to parry certain ones that do break his shield, but what happens is that he loses shield due to the shield health, and he's also taking sometimes 10% or 12% damage. But that was a really good use of Nikita there, and that's definitely something we need to see more, is that Nikita. It's literally a character. It's like having a second character by you at all times. Uh-oh.
Oh no, stage. Yep, stage got and I was just getting ready to compliment Jest after, basically having 180% of damage initially that he had unanswered. Now they're dang near tied up at one stock apiece. This was really close at this point, honestly. We're gonna see this Nikita right here.
Really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times players will try to hit the opponent, and instead what Jess did there was he pretty much used the circling with that Nikita to distract BW and like just have it in that space. And then as soon as he knew that Jess would, or BW tried to get around it, he hit him with it. But unfortunately, he couldn't even use C4 to recover there, because if he tried to plant it, it may have tried to grab the wall and not fallen with him, and it was still already on stage from earlier when he planted it. And it's one of those, Snake is also a character where, like, if he's placing traps everywhere, he's a character that can really become confusing. I actually have a very big problem with like how Snakes can play, because they're very smart and can get super distracting. So it's like very hard to keep up with. So I think BW is doing a good job at like not getting too distracted by everything that Snake is doing. And they're just really only had the issue with the recovery, because that whole set, he really wasn't necessarily behind because he was dealing just as much damage.
I guess he could say snakes don't belong in Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, and that's, I think, another reason why we're seeing that stage switch to that small battlefield. I think that Jest really likes the platform layout for PS2, that dual platform. And I think the one thing he doesn't like, and it kind of makes sense, was that wall and the way that it doesn't let you ride up the side. And it just makes it super hard for snakes to get around that, because like their recovery just goes straight up. You can't really do anything to get around it if you're stuck underneath. And that's understandable. So hopefully we see a difference in the stock count. We're seeing similar damage, about 70 apiece, and nice boxing coming out from Jest.
Oh,
Nice use of the Nikita, and sometimes that's all you need to do is like just throw out that Nikita, anticipate where they'll be, and if they don't go for you right away, and you know you can get it, go for it.
I mean, this has been an explosive match, and we haven't gotten a minute through just yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
There we go, the cold crayon.
Yeah, that was a great use of it too. Ooh, goes for the Nikita, has to shield. Will he go for it again? Oh, he's going for up smash. Has to keep using it here. Really smart. That was a great ledge guard. We're seeing him really control this ledge here. BW finally making it back. Will he spike him? He does. Not dead yet. Oh, he air dodges. Really great knowledge of your character there. Knowing that your air dodge will make it. Not wanting to use anything like C4 to get back. Gets the up smash. And now you see him planting that C4 there. It's red flashing, but now it's gone. And look how hard it is to see that now. If you're trying to see it underneath that right platform. And that's just super sneaky, because now what will happen is the C4, it stays out for about 30 seconds, I believe, before it explodes. And pretty much, if he does try to detonate it before that timer is up, like by now, there it is, that's the timer. If he does make BLB forget about it, it can become super sneaky, because you might just be standing somewhere thinking that you're far enough away from all the grenades and explosions, and all of a sudden Snake just clicks the button and you blow up. And it's definitely something that I think Jess should try to play into more, because even if BW's aware of it being there, being able to control like space like that for so long is definitely a valuable asset. And here we're seeing Snake's like, ooh, finally taking that stock. I was just gonna say he was living for a while, but ooh, he's using that Nikita. Nice use of that. Does get hit by the Leaf Shield. Ooh, uses the Nikita again. And there's the up smash. Goes for it again.
Ooh.
Catches BW lacking. BW thought he was gonna have to catch a landing area with the up air, the nair from Snake, but instead he tried to catch the mortar, which ended up just taking a stock. And now we're seeing Jess start to get back in, start to take a lead, and I will say that Jess is doing a great job at just keeping up in this game. Wow, he's really starting to run away with it, getting about 20% on. Let's see what he can do. He's at 67 now. Even then, I think Jest is in a decent spot. He's getting up to these higher percents now, but I think also he has to still watch out for a lot of the things that BW is going for, especially now that when Jest gets these higher percents, his combos will do a ton more damage, but be harder to do fully. So he's got to be careful with that regard. 134 is Jess. Goes for F smash. Doesn't get the read. Gets the F tilt. Let's see. Goes for Nikita. The bomb's on him. He has to stop. Ooh, I think BW knew that too. He'd have to stop and probably wanted to go for the up tilt, but shielded it. Goes for Nair. Nice use of that by BW. Fully charging this forward smash. Does not hit him yet. Cypher does not break either. This is super tense. Goes for Nikita. Gets the up air. Wow, what a great read.
Oh! DI
God,
gets back in it.
Oh gosh, this is so scary.
Wow! He knew he just needed to get to him.
Yeah. I think Jess knew that too. We kind of saw right at the end, we'll be able to see it again, that replay, we'll see the circling Nikita as right as Jess hits him for the kill. The missile was coming back, and it may have hit BW if he had like another second. Watch this, everybody. So goes for this here, gets really good DI there. Like, that was great. Mid stage, wasn't gonna kill right here. It was gonna.
Yeah. Oh, because if it circled around and dropped any sooner, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was so close, and I think that if BW was unable to get that high like hit with that back air, and he had to go for a lower one, that's like split second amount of time may have been enough for them to trade. So very crazy game for them. Like, what a crazy set.
Nice. All right, so we got a couple of updates. I'm going to take a look at the bracket real quick and bring us back to it. Next up, we should have Solidus versus Luxray hopping in, but let's take a hot second to pull ourselves together over here. All right, BW Styles, you guys just watched, won a close 2-0 victory against one of Jestdoki's brand new characters that he whipped out for the tournament, that is. And BW Styles will be going on to face Kfair after we watch Luxray NYC take on Solidus Hedgehog. Now let's scroll on down below. We've got Swag Flu getting ready to take on Titan Killer Big Phil, coming a long way with a nice 2-0 victory over J2 Toxic. Jestdoki will be facing off Dank Link after Dank Link gets a 2-0 victory against Mayo. And that is how we got to where we are, guys.